hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 20 of my favorite bee Dollar Tree DIYs that I've made here on my channel. I love the bee theme for spring. It also works for summer. So let's get started with this bee wreath form that I found from the Dollar Tree. Now, the only thing I didn't like about it is I'm like, why is it red? I'm going to have a really hard time covering this. If it were black or gold, it would go with like bee colors, but why red? No idea. So I'm going to use spray paint. I never use spray paint, but for this application, I totally need to. So I go outside with my black spray paint and I just give it a nice coat of black on the top and the bottom. Just because if you see any of that frame, at the end, the red would really stand out. It's not going to go with my bee colors, right? So I want to cover the back parts of this with, different fabrics that would be really pretty. And so I picked up some bright yellow craft fabric from the Dollar Tree. I thought that would be perfect for like the bee body and for the bee head. So just using a Sharpie, I'm going to draw on the outside of the wires. So I will be able to cut this down to size because I'm going to have wings right next to it and then the head as well. That way none of my fabric is going to overlap. I have to get it cut pretty exactly what I need to go on the back, but just enough overlap to be able to glue that to the wire of the bee wreath form. And I love the bee wreath form. I've never seen this before. I don't know if it's a new product, but I thought it was kind of interesting that they just now got it in. And I'm just going to cut those all down, just cutting along the little Sharpie lines. And good news, 2 of my Dollar Trees have put the $3 and $5 stuff in their freezer sections, and it says Dollar Tree Plus. So I keep asking them, are you guys turning into a Dollar Tree Plus? And nobody knows, but I'm hopeful because I really want a Dollar Tree Plus. Now, this is the excess fabric that we had left over from our little beehive, the little burlap with the little daisies all over. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut out each wing by going on the outside of the wire so I can cut that down to size. I thought at first I wanted to do burlap wings, but I thought that the addition of the flowers would make my bees and flower theme. I thought at first it was going to be too busy because I am going to make like the bee striped. But oh my gosh, it turned out so cute. I'm so glad that I chose to do the flowers. So once I got them all sketched out and everything cut out, I thought the bee abdomen definitely needed stripes to make it look like a bee. Now, the only black ribbon that I could find at my Dollar Tree is this black sheer ribbon. Normally, don't like it. I try to avoid it, but for this, it kind of turned out pretty cool. So I'm going to use like a layer of Mod Podge, a stripe of Mod Podge, and just sit that on top. I did find it was a little hard to get it attached, maybe the texture or the material of the ribbon. So I do go over it with a little Mod Podge as well on top. And then I'm just going to do little stripes all the way down. As you can see, it kind of it's real kind of glossy. So I do Mod Podge a little on top as well. That's going to dry clear. You won't be able to see it. But that sheer on top of the yellow just gave it a very like subtle, like dirt gray stripe instead of like a bright black stripe. So I'm glad that it was sheer. And I'm just overlapping the sides. I can always trim down the excess later. I'm just trying to get it all glued down. And I'm just kind of eyeballing the spacing between the stripes. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to leave the head just yellow and then have like the bee body be striped. This is when I was like, oh, the stripes and the flowers, it's going to be too busy. But I can't wait for you guys to see it. It turned out so cute together. I think this might be my favorite DIY today. So then once I get them all glued down, I'm going to simply cut off all the excess ribbon trimming it down to size because, again, you're not going to want any overlap because you're going to have like wings and stuff like right next to it. But you just want it to be wide enough to be able to be glued to that wire reform without any excess. So here it is, lining that up to see if it's going to work, and it looks like it's pretty good. And then we can start putting this guy together. I'm just going to randomly start with the head part and just do a small bead of hot glue all along the edges and then glue that to the frame. Now, it's okay that you can kind of see my Sharpie, you can kind of see some of the glue, because we're going to frame the entire bee out with Dollar Tree rope. Now we're going to do the same thing here with the bee body, just working quickly. I'm going to do a bead of hot glue all along every edge. And then lay that on there. Making sure it's all lined up and that every wire side is attached. Now we're going to do the same thing with the bees. I find that the burlap wanted to curl up a little bit, so kind of trying to hold it flat. Again, maybe I should have ironed it. I wasn't sure how the flowers on there would do with ironing, but I was able to glue it on there pretty good. I cut these out maybe a little bit larger because the wings have 2 rows of metal, so I can have a little bit more of an overlap and it's not going to cause any issues with the adjoining sections. So again, the little burlap wing, and we're going to glue that on to that first row of metal reform. You can kind of start seeing the vision of this guy. And now this is the rope that we're going to use. It is, I think, the 8-foot Dollar Tree rope. It was the perfect width for this because what we're going to do is we're going to go around all of the single wires once with it, and then where it's doubled up, we can double it up. There's plenty of room. I'm going to start like on the bottom of the little bee head, and we're going to circle around, just working one section at a time, making sure that I cover up like all my Sharpie, all the metal, any hot glue, anything that was exposed. It covers up everything, cutting it down to size and gluing that around the little bee head. Now, I thought the antenna were cute as is, and I painted them black, so I'm going to leave them because that would look like an antenna. And then we're going to go around. The only tricky part of the wings is right here in the middle. You do kind of have to pinch that because you're not going to have a lot of room. And then glue that down. And then go around with our second row. So I'm just kind of working one section at a time on this. And isn't this cute? Again, this little area there was a little tricky. I just kind of get it in there as much as I can. Kind of hot glue that as tight of a corner as I can. And then hot glue that around. And now we can frame out the other side as well. I did outside first on this one, inside first on the other one. Doesn't really matter. You're just gluing it down to the metal. Actually, the outside first may have worked better for that tricky little corner there in the middle of the wing. And if you find there's any gapping, like I had right there between the 2 ropes, you can always just glue them to each other because you don't want anything to show in between. Super cute. And now we can do like the bee body with just 1 row of rope. Just working around the little stinger at the end, cutting it down to size and gluing it down. So cute. I just have to get rid of any excess hot glue. And then I'm going to carefully try to burn off any of my fuzzies from the rope. Don't want to burn any of the fabric that we put in there. But how cute is this bee? I thought about attaching a hanger, but I thought I would kind of want to hang it at a like diagonal like it's flying anyway, and I thought the little antennas would be perfect for hanging, and so I really don't need to do anything else to it. There it is. And see, it's really not too busy because the rope really is very neutral and kind of takes it down a notch, but I think the different patterns work really well together. What do you guys think? I'm also going to have a Beehive wreath DIY later on in this video. I know Dollar Tree tends to bring those back every year. The bee and the beehive, they're so fun to decorate for wall hangings or to use as wreaths for your door. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. I would really appreciate it. Now the next DIY, I wanted to make like a bee skep vase with grass in it. So I'm using one of these black plastic vases from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we could wrap it with Dollar Tree rope to make it look like a bee skep. So this is the rope that I'm using. This is the skinnier, longer brown rope from the Dollar Tree. And I want to wrap the entire vase with that. And I'm going to do that by starting at the bottom. So I just cut the plastic off and I just hot glue as close to the bottom as I can get. I'm not going to do the very bottom of the vase. I just want to go all the way to the edge. And then I glue that in place all the way around. And then I'm going to keep using that same piece of rope to keep wrapping it around. When you're kind of going up at this point, you don't need any glue. All you have to do is wrap it. And that's what I'm doing, trying to keep my rope tight together so that I don't have any gaps so you can't see the black through. And then I'm just going to glue down the end. That's how far one package got me. And then I can just start a new package. I did have to start and stop 3 times. And so, or I used 3 ropes. So I have multiple seams. I just made sure that all of my seams were on the back of the vase, so they were all like on the same side. Now I found when I was working up on this one, going up the round shape, I did have to hot glue these to keep these in place. So that took me a little bit longer. And I'm just hot gluing it, pinching it together, trying to make sure that you can't see any of the black through. And we're going to fill this up with that Dollar Tree onion grass and decorate it to make it look like a little bee skep or a beehive. And I love the shape for it. I think this is a really interesting shape to try. So I'm running out of rope. I'm going to make sure that I kind of cut it where it will end on that same side, so all of my seams will be hidden back here on the back of my vase. So definitely takes a lot of rope when you wrap a project like this. This is my 3rd package of that thinner rope from the Dollar Tree. And again, I'm just going to cut the tape off of it and start again. And I hot glue that in place, and I'm kind of going up again, so I'm not needing to glue it in place like I did before until I start getting here around the rim. I have to start gluing it in place because I don't want it to slip off the end. I want it to stay tight. And I'm just kind of going around until I cover up all of the plastic. This vase comes in black or white. You're not going to be able to see the inside of it, so it doesn't really matter which one you get. And I'm just going to kind of overlap it a little bit there, just to cover up the very top and cut off the rest of the rope, gluing that end down so it kind of blends in with the top of the vase. Now, Dollar Tree rope is notoriously like a fuzzy. It's kind of got some crazy pieces sticking out of it. So next up, I just take one of the long lighters and we're just going to go over it and burn off all of the fuzzies and try to clean it up a little bit. But it looks pretty cool as just a vase, right? Now, when I dress it up and kind of make it look like a bee skep, it makes it look even cooler. So burning off all the fuzzies. If I have any kind of weird like sticks sticking out, I try to trim those off as well. And I think that looks a lot better. Now to fill it up, it's going to be super easy. I'm going to use some of that Dollar Tree onion grass. And just kind of stick that in there. But first, I wanted to decorate it to make it look like a bee skep. So I just took my black paint pen and I'm just sketching out a simple circle here on the front. Once I got it sketched out, then I can kind of go in with some black paint. I'm using some chalk paint, but you could use acrylic. Just kind of whatever you have. And I'm just going to fill in my circle to make a nice, bold, black spot on the front of it for a little hole for the bees. And this is what Dollar Tree rope looks like painted. I mean, you can do it, but as you can see, you have to use a brush to try to get down in between the individual ropes and all the fibers and everything like that. And I'm just going to kind of touch it up, try to make it look like a circle the best that I can. And then for bees, I was brainstorming a way to make little bees. And I remembered I have some of these yellow pom-poms, garland from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to try it with those. I just cut off one of the little mini pom-poms and rolled it into between my hands to kind of make it like a oval shape. And then I'm going to take some of the black wire from the hardware aisle at Dollar Tree. And I thought I could wrap that around the yellow pom-pom to make like little black stripes. And I could also use it for an antenna, right? So I start here at one end of my pom-pom. This helps it keep that longer shape too instead of the circle. And I wrap that around a couple times to give like 3 stripes for the bee. And then I'm going to leave a little tail on there for one of the antennae. And then I'll have to cut off another little piece to make a second antennae for the front of the bee. And I am going to make wings in just a second, but this is like basically the body of the bee. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach it now. I can always add the wings later. Just trying to make sure everything looks good. I think that looks pretty good for a DIY bee. And I'm going to glue it right here kind of near the opening. And I really like how that turned out, so I'm going to try making another one. So if you were not able to find the little bees from the Dollar Tree this year as well, this is an option if you have some of this pom-pom garland. I love this pom-pom garland. I think I have it like in every color from the Dollar Tree because there's always so many things you can do with it. So for the second one, I did the same thing. I tried to make it kind of longer, wrapped it with that wire 3 times for 3 stripes, left one piece for the antennae, and then I cut another piece down for the other antennae and kind of wrapped that around the wire, making it kind of stick out of the head, just like the other one. We can glue that here on the other side. Like this one might not be going in the beehive, but the other one's probably going to. Now, I was trying to think of something fun I could use to make little tiny bee wings. And I remembered I had this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it, kind of like a snake skin. I thought like the fun texture on it would make it look like a texture or veining of a bee wing. So I'm just going to cut off a little piece. And basically a bee wing is just shaped like a heart. So I'm just going to use an ink pen and cut out some heart shapes here, all about the same size on the fabric with the veining, kind of avoiding the pattern that was on there. And then just cutting those little wings out. I kind of did 2 smaller ones, 2 like larger ones without really meaning to, but I'll just pair those up with the small ones on one bee and the little bit larger ones on the other bee. So kind of a teeny miniature, like a little project there, but I was really happy with how it turned out. It was really cute and a lot cuter than just skipping the bee, right? So I just do a little dot of hot glue on the back of my bee, and then I'm just going to sit the tip of the wing in it right here on the back. They're cute without the wings, but I think the wings really make them special, make them really look like little bees. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. A dot of hot glue for each wing, just kind of making sure they are like right across from each other and sticking straight up. Doesn't that look so cute? I mean, you could always add more bees if you wanted to go crazy, but I think 2 bees is enough for this. But I absolutely love how this Dollar Tree vase turned out. It's such a fun, interesting shape for like a bee skep. And it's practical because I can now put greenery in there and have like a floral piece. This is the onion grass I'm using. I'm just using the plain onion grass. If you can only find like the ones with like butterflies or eggs in them, you could totally use that as well, just kind of removing the extra stuff. But I had 3 of these. Now, they didn't sit in there too well because I don't really have like any foam or anything like that in the vase. So I decided to add just some Dollar Tree sand to the bottom just to help me be able to stand those up a little bit better and make sure they're not like kind of flopping all over the place. Because it is a pretty big vase, as you can see. So there it is, 3 of the onion grass and our little bee Skep vase. I think it turned out really cute. So let me give you a little preview. I thought the idea of the onion grass would be really cute. The grass kind of reminds me of bees, and the vase looks like a bee Skep. Really creative and fun. I really love how this one turned out. It's one of my favorites. And then up next, we're going to do a little honeycomb wall hanging using these signs from the Dollar Tree. The top sign, brand new. I've never seen those before. It's great because they kind of changed the image and made it more bee theme, right? The other one was more like had a saying, just some black drawings of some flowers, but I think it coordinates well too. So I'm just going to glue the two together to kind of form that cool honeycomb shape. And I love the bee part, so we're going to leave that alone, but we will kind of disguise the bottom to kind of make them go together. Now they're kind of a heavy sign. I want to make a sign that I can hang, so I want to make sure this is secure. So I'm also going to reinforce it on the back a little bit, just with some popsicle sticks. I just cut down a couple pieces, and we're just going to hot glue that right on the seam. And I love that they changed these signs up because, you know, us crafters, we love crafting with these and trying to make them our own. I actually used one of these to spell out the word bee on my coffee bar video. And usually we're always trying to kind of disguise what's already on there, but the one with the bee stuff on there is perfect. So I take some Dollar Tree twine. I am just going to make some knots on each side. We're just going to make a simple hanger because I want this to be a hanging bee sign decor. And then just using my staple gun, we're just going to staple this on both sides. I went back and forth whether I should cover the middle part of the honeycomb with like some fabric or some burlap or something like that. And I couldn't decide whether I should or not. I did want to do it like a bee and a flower though. And so I'm going to leave it open. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you think I should put something under there because maybe I still can, right? And so I just use one of these little flowers from the Dollar Tree, a cute little sunflower, just off of an arrangement of those from the Dollar Tree. And I just hot glued it over to one of the corners of like that open hexagon area. But I don't want to cover any of that cute bee stuff that's going on at the top. Now, these are from like the spring and garden section at Dollar Tree. These are the little chalkboard ornaments, but they have a bee shape. Isn't it cute? And I thought he might be just the right size to kind of cover up the writing that's now kind of upside down here on the bottom. Because the rest of like the black flower sketches are going to coordinate well with the top sign, which kind of has that feel too. I just kind of need to disguise that part right there that has the writing. Now the black chalkboard sign is really black, so I'm going to work on just the plain wood side. I thought that would be easier to paint and personalize. And we're just going to fill in the hole in the ornament, you know, with some spackle. And then we can start painting this. I am using kind of a brighter yellow color. I think this is called bright yellow. Acrylic paint and just going over the body of the bee. And then using a tiny brush and some black, we're going to go in and give him some little black antennae. And then for the wings, I couldn't decide what to do. I kind of wanted something more translucent, but I kind of want that wood feel too to go with some of our other DIYs today. So I do Antique Wax by Waverly, but I kind of follow that up with a baby wipe right away to give me a light stain. And I think this turned out cute. You could also do like a gray stain or something like that with acrylic. That would be cute as well. And now there are little lines on there, like little cutouts. So I'm kind of going to use those as reference to kind of paint some little bee stripes on our little bee. And then maybe one here at the bottom too, where you would have like a little bee stinger. I'm not going to do a face or anything. I kind of want more of an abstract look, but I do kind of want to bring out some more details in it. So I use a black paint pen. And we're just going to kind of sketch out our body parts. Just to add a little bit more color and definition to them. Now on the wings, you could do like some lines and stuff like that as well, but I kind of already have like that wood grain on there, so I'm just going to kind of outline them as well to kind of make them pop. And then we can add this cute little wood bee ornament to our little honeycomb. I love those signs. The only thing I don't like about them is I wish that they nested together a little bit better, so you could kind of stack them on top of each other, you know, both going the same direction, and you could kind of build whatever shape you wanted. But this is one way you can use them together to kind of make a fun bee shape. So I was trying to determine which way I kind of want to, you know, tilt him, how he's going to work, and how he can cover up the words that are just below. I think I like him better this way, so we can just glue him on to the frame of that piece and just glue his wings on there and a quick affix to that little area of the sign. But I like the rest of it. I love the top part with the little beehive, the bee happy, and the bee. It's so cute. Now you can kind of still see where I spackled in the ornament hanger hole, and it was bothering me. So I took some Dollar Tree twine and just tied off like the tiniest little bow. It's going to have to be tiny for this guy. And I'm just going to glue that over the top. It's going to add just another fun texture and decor piece, but it's also going to serve the purpose of kind of disguising that hole there in it. And here is our little Be Happy sign. I think this is so cute. And it would look great for spring or summer. But isn't this cute? I think this would be pretty with any kind of like a yellow flower, since you've got all those yellow flowers in the sign. And I think it would be cute too if you put something behind that open one as well. And it's a fun way to use these honeycomb signs. I have used them as a standalone sign too when I did my bee coffee bar. But I think they're really cute, and you can find some really creative items like this from the Dollar Tree to make some bee DIYs with. I promised you guys we would be doing the Beehive wreath today too. I have done this one before with burlap, the burlap with flowers on it and rope on the front. Now for this one, I kind of wanted it to not be the full beehive, so I'm just going to use my pliers and pull off the bottom to kind of make it look like a beehive with like a flatter bottom than just the longer beehive. Just personal preference, but I kind of like how it turned out. I just wanted something a little different than the one that I made before. Now, I found some more great fabric at Dollar Tree today. This is fuzzy too, but it is velour. They had this velour in all different colors. I got a whole bunch. Even for like Christmas, I got like reds and greens and blues. I loved it. And then I also picked up one of the yellow aprons just because I needed some yellow fabric for the back of this. What I want to do is kind of make like a little pillow that I can stuff, that'll make like that velour fabric kind of come up in between each layer of the beehive and make it look more 3D. So I just lay my beehive on top of the apron and I just cut this down to size. Now, I thought fabric would be the best for the back of the pillow. I did find that the stuffing kind of went out that direction as well. So if I had this to do again, I might replace this fabric here with cardboard because it would be something that you could still cut, but it wouldn't be quite as giving as the fabric with the stuffing that I kind of wanted to go the other direction. But I was able to make it work. So I cut that out. That's going to be the back of the pillow. That looks good. And then I'm going to cut out the velour. The velour is going to be the front of the pillow and what's coming through that wreath form. And look how pretty this fabric is. I'm so glad they're carrying all these new fabric products at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use the apron that I cut down for reference to cut this out. I want to kind of leave a little bit of room in between because I want to be able to cut all of my Sharpie off here. I don't want any of that to be visible on the final product. So I drew it next to it, but definitely not right on it. So I can then just cut all of that off and have the front part for it. So that's what we're cutting down now. We're just going to cut down the velour to size. And it's a great color. I thought this was a really great color for a beehive. If you like, we're doing like a kid's room or something like that with like Winnie the Pooh, this would be super cute for that. Kind of reminded me of that. My son had a Winnie the Pooh themed playroom when he was little, and I had a lot of fun decorating that with Winnie the Pooh. Definitely a classic. And so just cutting all of that velour down to size. So now we have the two pieces, we can kind of build the pillow. The reason I wanted to do the pillow again is to make it look more 3D from the front so that I can actually stuff it. I want the material to come up in between those different pieces like a honeycomb shape. So I'm just going to start like a no-sew method, hot gluing it. I do actually have to end up doing some sewing on this project though. You guys know how much I hate sewing. But I couldn't think of any other way to make it work. But I'm going to glue most of it closed. I'm only going to leave open like half of the bottom for stuffing. So I'm going to leave up the bottom part right there. And Dollar Tree carries polyfill now, so that's a fun find. I'm just going to take some polyfill and I'm going to stuff it. Nothing crazy, just kind of like medium thickness. I probably could have stuffed it more, but I kind of wanted it to be flat. So I'm just kind of putting one piece in at a time, trying to make sure that no area really gets stuffed more than the other. And that looks pretty good. Now, I was concerned about how I was going to attach the wire wreath form to the velour once I got it closed up like that. I just glued it shut, and I didn't really think that I was going to be able to hot glue it in place. As you can see, once I stuffed it, kind of made it a little smaller than the wreath form, so I kind of needed to do something a little bit heavier duty. So, got to break out one of those giant needles from the crafter square at Dollar Tree, and we're actually going to have to sew because I couldn't really think of any other ways to attach it. So if you're going to stuff yours too, you might want to make it a little oversized, and that way you could hot glue the wreath form down onto it better. But I'm going to go ahead and attempt to sew. I'm going to do a really loose stitch all the way around and just something to kind of keep it all together. And it actually worked, even though I didn't want to sew. So this took me a little bit of time, so I'm going to put this on super, super fast speed. But basically, as you can see, I'm doing a very loose stitch all the way around. I mean, sometimes like maybe even an inch between stitches, with like the excess string just being on the back of it, so I don't really have to worry about any of that being visible. And I am just sewing the pillow to the wreath form. This worked out pretty well. That way it stays tight to the edges. Then I can kind of go in and I'm going to cover the wires on the front. So I'll be able to cover up like any stitching or anything like that. So again, just going all the way around. I do want it to be puffy though, like in the middle. And so once I get the edges sewed on, I also sew the middle bars too to kind of make it give it that puffy appearance. It's going to kind of pull the wreath form down in between each one of the segments. So it wasn't too thick of a pillow, so it was pretty easy to do that. And again, I'm just doing a very loose stitch, like every inch, and just leaving the excess string there on the back. And I'm going to do that all the way up. I don't really care too much what the back of it looks like because you're not going to be able to see it. But I was glad that I did like the pillow fluffy shape on it because usually these are super flat and I think that they should look bumpy like that. That was my goal. Now for the wire we're going to cover up with Dollar Tree rope. I'm actually going to use two different kinds. I'm going to use this larger brown rope from the Dollar Tree to go all the way around the edges of the beehive. That way it can kind of cover up that large seam that I have. I thought the skinnier rope was not going to be large enough. So I'm going to start right here on the bottom of our beehive, and I'm just going to hot glue this one section at a time and glue that all the way around. Then when I'm going to go in and do the middle sections too, but that one I'm going to do with the Dollar Tree thinner brown rope, because I don't want to take away too much from that velour beehive. It turned out so cute. So my goal here is to cover the wire and also cover the stitching. So I'm kind of going just to the edge because I really have to cover a lot of stitching here. And that white thread, I don't want you to be able to see that. And that is the outer edges. And again, we're going to do the inner part of it too. I want to decorate it as well, kind of make it look like a beehive. Again, I'm using this one for a wall hanging, not necessarily like an outdoor wreath. I don't know how well this beautiful velour would do outside unless you had kind of a well-protected porch. So on these, I kind of have to do individual pieces. So each row I'm going to have to cut down to size. But I'm glad that I did the thinner rope on this because I don't really need much more. All I have to do is cover up the wire, and the stitching isn't super obvious on this one because I just stitched the wire down through the pillow. And we're going to do the same thing here with the other 3 pieces until it is framed out. Now I wanted to have like a hole for the front of it, a hole for the beehive for the bees to go in and out. And I was trying to decide if I should add like black fabric, but I actually ended up doing it with that same rope that we just used. I'm just going to start here and form a circle with it, hot gluing that to the velour in this little second section. And then I can just spiral that along. I do have to kind of hot glue it all down to make sure it stays in place until I get to the center, cutting it down to size and gluing that point down. Now I did notice that it kind of wanted to stick up, especially since that area was stuffed. So I did take that same needle and thread, kind of tack that down as well, sewing that in so it kind of goes, back kind of like a button sewed in to the pillow. And then I was trying to think of what I could use to make a bee for a beehive this big. I mean, it is pretty large, and I'm actually going to use a toy from the Dollar Tree. So while I have the rope out, I am going to go ahead and make a simple hanger for a beehive. I'm just going to cut a piece of the rope down to make a simple loop like that I can put on the top. I do want this to hang like straight up and down, especially since I made like the bottom of it flat by removing part of the wreath form. And I just attached that to that yellow fabric on the back that used to be an apron. And that should be a plenty good hanger. Now, this is the toy that I was talking about from Dollar Tree. There's their toy bees. And I thought this would be a really good scale for this since it's such a large beehive. But I want to give it a little makeover. I'm not too crazy with the way they paint these. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my heat gun to try to remove these wings. They're really kind of in there because I don't want to get any paint on those. So I want to go ahead and get those out of the way. I have painted these like really realistic before. This is going to be kind of an easier version. I like the yellow and black bee tail here with the stripes. So I don't want to change anything there. So I just tape that off with some painter's tape. I'm not too worried about the underside of this one because you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm only going to paint the top. But I definitely wanted to protect that section. And then I kind of wanted to paint everything black, like black legs, black antenna. I know bees have black heads. So we're going to use just black spray paint. You could also use like black acrylic. The great thing about these is they have like a texture on them. And so you can kind of really get a realistic look if you wanted that. I just kind of wanted a quick, easy one. So I just sprayed it down with some of that black spray paint. And that does say it works on plastic, so it should work well on this little plastic toy. It didn't want to dry too quickly, though. I don't know if it was the spray paint or maybe I used a lot of it. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the painter's tape from the tail. And I like the way it looks better now with all of that painted black. So just kind of cleaning up any kind of bleeding that I had there from the painter's tape. And I'm going to finish drying this bee so we can attach it to the wreath form. Can't forget to reattach the wings. Had to make sure which way they went when I took them off so I could put them back on the same way. I'm not going to glue them in place. There's kind of enough tension keeping those in. I think that that's going to make it work. And then we can attach that to our little fuzzy beehive with the velour. That's what I was trying to think of, the velour. And I'm going to kind of have it to the side of the opening, kind of like that. I think that looks good. And I'm just going to attach it to the velour with some hot glue, kind of pushing that down in there. Just like that. And I think that's a really fun detail. Anytime I can add like a bee to a beehive, I'm going to love that. And then I like it. I thought it needed just a little bit something more, something that would go with like the bee theme. So I decided to add a flower. This is the Cosmos from the Dollar Tree. It is a big white flower with a yellow center. I thought this would look really cute with the colors that we have going on, and a bee definitely goes, or a flower definitely goes with the bee theme. So I just kind of hot glued that on that second section up against the rope. Nothing crazy, but I think that's the perfect final step to this little pillow beehive. I really love the velour, super fun textures, and the little toy bee looks pretty good on there as well. And as you can see, the texture on the bee, they're really kind of cool. Check out this great bag that I just got at Dollar Tree yesterday. It is a bee positive bag. It's a nice large size. It's made out of like a plastic material. So this DIY would even work outside because this bag is like waterproof. It's like a cool material. And I thought we could make a really cool bee sign out of it because it was nice and large. It's got that beautiful bee image on there. So just using one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree, I thought we could cut this out. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the front off of the bag just to make it easier to work with. And I'll still have the back too that has the same like image on there, and cut the straps off. Now I just want to kind of center it on there where everything's going to be seen. And then I can just use a Sharpie and draw around so I'll know where to cut the bag down to size. Now, the only thing about this, I thought, oh, it's just a bag. I will just Mod Podge this down to my wood round. It's going to be super easy. I did have problems with the Mod Podge on this. I think maybe because it's made out of that plastic material, I was having a hard time getting it dry. Because even my heat gun couldn't really get to where the glue was on this. So if you're going to do this with one of these bags, you might want to use a different kind of glue, like maybe a tacky glue or any other kind of glue besides Mod Podge, because I kind of struggled with the Mod Podge part here. But trying to get this cut down to the perfect size circle, I did pretty good. And I don't know, maybe if I would have used less Mod Podge, I would have had better luck. I kind of used a heavy coat because I kind of was thinking, like fabric and stuff like that, but I'll show you here. So I put one coat down and then I went and put another coat down. Maybe I should have stopped at the first coat, maybe. And then smooth that out. Trying to get rid of any wrinkles. I did have a few wrinkles at the top that were kind of bothering me, and that's why I was trying to get it dry and stuff like that. But I'm going to cut out my struggle footage here, but I worked on it a while to try to get it dry. And you can kind of see like the little bubbling at the top there. I couldn't really get rid of that. And whenever I kind of pulled on it, even after letting it sit for a while, it just kind of seemed like it was still wet. And so I decided to use my heat gun and kind of melt that down. And since it's made out of plastic, it did. It kind of like shrink wrapped it to the side and got rid of most of the bubbles. So win-win. Now I'm just going to take some ivory acrylic and we're going to distress working in one direction with a chunky brush. The reason I'm doing that is just to add a little bit more character to it, make it look less like a plastic bag and more like, you know, a hand-painted sign. So I do that, dry it, distress it just a tad more. I like that rustic coastal farmhouse vibe, and so I always distress everything. Now, I thought it was too kind of warped after that and too thin. And so I thought I was definitely going to have to double up on my wood rounds to make it a thicker sign and to get rid of this warp. I don't know if I warped it more by using the Mod Podge on there, but what I'm going to do first is just use my little Cricut leader and we're going to poke some holes back here through the bag. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that the holes on both of my wood rounds line up before I glue them together. Important step. Or you could always do a hanger and just attach it to the bag. So I'm just going to feed this through both just to kind of get my spacing good. And this totally worked. It took away all of the warped in my sign. And you know, it made it a nice thick sign too. So if you've got another wood round, I would suggest doubling up if you can. I just do a good coat of hot glue all around and just simply glue those together. Basically, any of the Dollar Tree signs, if you're going to double them up like that, it's just going to make it just so much a much nicer piece because that wood is thin. Now, I'm going to use chicken wire that I got at the Dollar Tree. Can be kind of hard to find at the Dollar Tree. Whenever I see it, I try to pick some up because it's a great deal for $1.25. The reason I'm using chicken wire is because I thought it looks like a beehive with that shape of the different cells. So I'm going to cut down a piece of that chicken wire a little bit larger than our sign. I thought this was going to add a lot of character to that, make this look not like just a plain bag glued to a sign, but something really intentional with lots of fun and textures. Now my hanger is going to get in the way at this point, and so I don't really need it on there at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop that back off and we can reattach it later. I'm going to go in with that chicken wire and I'm going to use my staple gun to staple that chicken wire all around. So it's probably a good thing I doubled up on the sign because I'm going to definitely need the thickness for my staples. Otherwise it's going to go, they're going to go through way too much of that thin sign. So I just start at the top and just start stretching it and stapling all four sides down to the sign. And I don't really know how else you could attach this without stapler. I mean, you could use like a desk stapler if you don't have like one of these kind of staplers, but I love the stapler. I've had this stapler for like 20 years, I think, and it does a great job. The only thing I don't like is I usually don't use it a lot because Dollar Tree signs are so thin, it usually goes straight through them. Then using heavy duty scissors, I'm just using my KitchenAid scissors. I am going to go around and snip off all of the excess chicken wire. I don't craft with chicken wire very much, but when I do, I always love it. Oh. Now, doesn't that look like a beehive, like all the little honeycombs in there? I think that looks just like a honeycomb. I do go back, though, with more staples just to make sure it is secure and flat and none of that's going to kind of bow out. I'm not worried about the staples showing because I am going to frame this out with some rope. But I can go back in and pop in the little hanger that was kind of in the way before. The hardest part is just trying to get it in there. Now, this is the rope that we're going to use to frame it out. Doesn't really matter which one. This is kind of the larger or medium one in diameter. And I thought rope would be perfect. It's going to give you that like bee skep look. And it's going to be a perfect little frame that's going to cover up all of those staples. So just working above the hanger, I'm going to go all the way around and do one row, like just flush with the edges. And again, I like to hot glue like a quarter at a time so my hot glue doesn't dry out. And I think I'm going to go around another time as well, just to frame it out with a little bit more of a substantial frame. You could always use some thicker rope if you had it. This would be really cute with a white rope as well, but I was kind of trying to stick with like this brown color scheme to go with my yellow and black today. So just again, starting at the bottom like before, I cut a new piece so it's all flush with each other. And then kind of sandwich the hanger in there all the way around. I kind of wish I would have put the hanger in from the back. I think it would hang a little bit flatter. And since you're going to be covering up that area with rope anyway, you wouldn't see those little plastic tabs that show through. Now it's time to decorate. I got these mixed floral bouquet at the Dollar Tree the other day. My Dollar Trees have been getting some really high-end florals in. I was able to get a whole bunch of lamb's ear. I was really excited. Really nice. Now the surprise on this piece is when I unwind it, it is all like melted together. Can you see that? Like I thought I could just untie it and take them all apart, but no such luck, but that's okay. I didn't really need the stems anyway. I just kind of needed the pieces. I thought this would be really great to frame this out, kind of giving you that like wreath look, because it's got like these little long pieces and some yellow flowers. So I thought these would look great along the bottom. So I'm just going to glue these down right here to the bottom of this, and it's going to kind of decorate the bottom part of this, kind of make it look like a wreath. I thought about using one of those little wood bead wreaths, the round ones from the Dollar Tree for this, to decorate it a little bit more, but it was a little too small. So I decided against it and decided to go with a rope. And then the little yellow flowers are so cute. There's 3 in this little bundle. I'm just going to use 2, kind of having one go in each direction, just like the greenery. And then to cover up that area that I just glued it, I thought one of these little flowers would be really cute. It's going to kind of give you that daisy look. I know they're not daisies, but I never can find daisies at the Dollar Tree. But I wanted that white with like yellow center look. So just using a little hot glue and securing that to the bottom. And I think that looks really cute. Very spring-like. It's officially spring now. It was very hot in Florida here today. Man, in the 90s, I was very hot. I'm like, this doesn't feel like spring. This is summer. Now check out this great bee ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's so cute. The only thing I didn't like about it though is it's not wired. So I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to pull this off. I wanted to do a fun bow for the top, but since it is silky and doesn't have any wire structure, I didn't know if I'd be able to pull it off. So I decided to do like a faux bow. So what I'm doing now is just cutting like 2 tails that I can attach to the sign first. Since it's going to be a faux bow, it's going to kind of be a multi-step process. I want them to not really cover up my bee, so I can actually just place these tails exactly where I want them, just attaching that with hot glue. That way, it's not going to cover up my little bee too much. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece. I do have a little bit of overlap there. I do have to go back and trim that off at the end. And then I'm going to cut off another piece to do a loop. And just slightly overlapping the edges, pulling it tight in the middle, I'm just going to kind of make a bow like that. I do end up doubling it up to make it a little bit more fluffier. And then I just use twine to tie that together, making sure I leave an overlap in there so it all stays together. And before you get it too tight, make sure your loops are like about equal size. That's when I decided I needed maybe another one. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut out another piece about the same size and loop it up. And I still have the twine there on my bow, so I can use that existing twine to tie the second bow on there. I just kind of X them for right now to make it a little bit easier to do this. And then I just tie them all together like that. Flip it over, tie it again, and this worked. It's a nice size bow, and the loops definitely are staying open, and you really didn't flatten out like I was worried about. I do go back and kind of like make an upper row and a bottom row on those bows, and then I'm just going to cut off that excess twine, and we can attach that to our little tails. And that's what I mean by like faux bows, because really no tying of any bows occurred here. It's simple too. So I just attach that with hot glue. I'm just going to leave the twine in the center. It's going to go with like the rope around there. And I think we have enough decoration with all the flowers on the bottom of this one. Just fluffing it up. And then I do go in here and kind of trim this piece back because you could kind of see it. And that's it for this DIY. I think this turned out really cute. What do you guys think about this one? This was kind of a what was in my head project. It kind of evolved a little bit. It's not what I pictured initially, but I love how it turned out, and I love the use of the chicken wire. I just think it has a lot of textures, a lot going on, and I just absolutely love this piece. Now, next up, I have some smaller bead DIYs where I'm going to decorate a tier tray with all bead DIYs, and I love how this turned out. It's definitely one of my favorite themes to do on a tier tray. So to start with, I'm just going to use some of this Dollar Tree brown rope. This is like the 9.5 foot, and one of those little plastic cloches from the Tree. I thought that was the perfect size for a little honey beehive on top of our little tier tray, and I think it's going to be the perfect size. So this is pretty easy to make. It's just going to be some hot glue and rope, and I just start right in the middle, hot gluing it to the center. Once you get it good and glued down, you can start wrapping it around. Now, since it's kind of like a curved shape, you kind of have to hot glue a little bit as you go. The tension's really not going to keep it on there. And so once I get like the very beginning started, I just cover like, 3 or 4 rows and with hot glue and just wrap them around before the hot glue sets up. And then we're just going to keep doing that, wrapping all the way down. Whenever you do a rope project like this, it's going to take a lot more rope than you think it's going to need. So let me show you about how far one package goes. And then you can just kind of start a new one. You're not really going to be able to see the transition too much, but we're going to make it look like a little honey beehive, so we'll be able to hide any of that too. And so we're just going to kind of start right there where we stopped. If you put a little bit of hot glue there, it's going to keep your edges from fraying and kind of tidy that all up. I thought we could just, I don't want to make it like a traditional bee skep, with like the handle on top. I just wanted that simple honey beehive shape there, and then we can decorate this with some little bees. So that looks good. I'm not going to use the bottom or anything. We're just going to use that part. Once I get it all on there, I always like to use a lighter, kind of burn off any of the fuzzies on there. Give it a little bit of a cleaner appearance. And once I get it cleaned up, I just kind of want like to make an opening on there. And the easiest way to do that, I found on the rope, is just use a little paint. So I'm just using some black acrylic paint and just going to paint a circle right here, kind of about halfway up so you can kind of see it from your tier tray. And then we're going to decorate this with bees. I have some of those little wooden bees from the Dollar Tree. I have found that I only bought like maybe a couple of bags of those. This year, I really wish I would have stocked up because I have had a hard time trying to find any more. So I'm going to use every single one that I have left today. I wish I had more. They're so cute. They also have these like in the ladybugs as well. But I'm just going to attach them with hot glue, even though they do have sticker paper on there, just to make it a little bit sturdier. And maybe have a couple of them going in the hole and just kind of scatter them all over. They're super fun. They would probably be fairly easy to make with some half beads, but you're going to have to do some pretty good detail painting on those. So that is what it looks like with 4. I was thinking I probably need to use more, so I went and grabbed a couple more, and we're just going to add a few more to our little beehive. Maybe one right on top, and maybe one on the side. I kind of like them to be a little bit off center there. And I think this is going to be a really great size for the top of our tier tray. Here is our little beehive. These are super easy to make and very cute. I've done like several versions of this. I've done like a large bee skep for my last bee tier tray, and then I've kind of done a smaller version with my bee coffee bar this year. So I wanted to do this tier tray because it's going to coordinate really well with my bee coffee bar. If you haven't seen that, I have a bee coffee bar and another bee DIY video where I did a lot of bee wall decor. Now check out, this is one of the new bee pieces that they have at the Dollar Tree. They have a ton of new bee pieces that they have just been getting in at my stores. But I thought we could take this and kind of make it look a little bit better. I'm just going to use a Target paint pen. This is yellow orange. And I'm going to kind of sketch that honeycomb pattern along the sides to kind of bring out that detail on that. It's kind of an unpainted like white ceramic finish on this. So I think it's kind of designed to be painted. They did do like a gold kind of stamp on the top of it, but I kind of wanted this to be yellow. I wanted to do like maybe like a softer yellow than what you would expect. I think this is called like sun bright yellow, and I just want to go all over that now, getting in between all the different little pieces of the honeycombs. And then before it dries, I'm just going to go in there with a wet wipe and kind of wipe off the excess paint, trying to get that yellow orange to kind of show through to give it a little bit more detail on the side. It didn't show through as much as I would like, but it was kind of a little bit of a subtle detail. And I think I am going to go ahead, and just leave it as a box like that with the ceramic top. The bee is super cute on there. And I kind of want to do a similar technique with that. It does have the gold stamping on there, but I do go in with my yellow orange and just kind of sketch out. It's a raised surface where the bee is, so it's pretty easy to color that in. And then I'm going to go over that with yellow as well. I thought about kind of making it two-tone with the white and the yellow, but I decided to make it all yellow. It's super cute. Just a little like trinket box. And wait till you see some of these items that I found at Dollar Tree. They are so cute. And the same thing, I am just going to wipe off the excess with a baby wipe, kind of revealing the gold finish. I found my yellow orange really didn't stand out too much on that, but more of the gold stamping that was on there kind of already did. But I'm just trying to remove as much yellow paint to let that shine through. I kind of want it to look like a mottled appearance, but I do want a little bit of yellow orange. So I do go back and add just a little bit more of that more orange color just to provide a little bit more contrast. And I think that looks pretty good. A little yellow honeycomb dish with a little golden bee on top. And I do like that color of like that gold stamping that's on there. We're going to use a lot of golds, a lot of yellows with these DIYs. But I think it turned out pretty cute and it was pretty easy to put together. The next DIY is this little Be Kind, Be Sweet, Be Humble wood box. It's one of those little light up boxes from the Dollar Tree. And I think these are new. I really liked this style. Some of them had some of the more like colorful bees and stuff on there, but I really kind of liked just the simple brown and white feel of this one. And I thought we could probably update it quickly with some color. So the easiest way to do that is just to use a paint pen. I'm using that same yellow-orange color. And you know what? We're just going to kind of color this in a little bit. Like its body, its different stripes. I'm going to leave the wings like white and the legs and the head and everything like that is perfect. So just a very easy update on this. Just adding a little color to each side. And this is a nice tall piece. I think it's going to be good on the top tier, and it even lights up. So that's pretty cool. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go ahead and make all of these little bee DIYs. And then I'm going to show you how we put our tier tray together and other DIYs and finds for the kitchen as well. So I think that was very easy to put together. I really like this one. What do you guys think about this little bee box? I think it's so cute. Now, the next one's going to be super easy. Check out these new little jars. So it's kind of like an orange clear glass, but it has this adorable little metal bee on there, and it's tied on with twine, which I kind of like. I think you could use this for like a candle holder or something like that. I am going to make it just into a small vase. I always like to have like a little flower display or some kind of greenery on my tier tray. It really makes it look nice. And I think, for like a spring, a summer feel, I think it's going to be perfect. So I just kind of updated the bow on there with the twine just to kind of clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit shorter. And then these are the flowers we're going to use. They're just called wildflowers from the Dollar Tree, and they're just the small yellow ones. And I think like one bunch of these is going to be perfect to fill that up. It kind of just reminds me of like a honey pot. It's got that feel. It's kind of got the color of honey that the jar is as well. And so we're just going to simply cut off the flowers on this arrangement. I'm not going to include any of the leaves. I'm just kind of taking the top parts off of these and just leaving the leaves on the stems. Now, I didn't really want something that was going to take away from the effect of the jar because it looks really cool, like floral foam or anything, but I kind of really needed this to stay together and kind of have some area where you could stand the plants up in there. So we're just going to use some Dollar Tree white sand. It's not going to take away from the design, but it kind of gives me something to hold these flowers in so they kind of won't be falling all over the place. So I'm just making sure they're all pushed down inside. It kind of gives you the stability of some floral foam, but you're not really going to have to see that in there. You're going to see that cool pattern on the side. So just a quick, easy tier tray DIY. And check out that adorable little honeybee charm on there. I was blown away by how many new bee items they have. He's so cute. And this is how it turned out. Okay, our next one. This is a stepping stone. Now, these are not very large. They have a couple different ones. There is this one that's bee kind, and then there's a girl gnome one as well. I think this one was a little bit cuter, so I picked this one up. Now, the colors are kind of rough on it. It is a stepping stone, but it's not really large enough to use as a stepping stone. I think it's more suited to a tier tray size. So we're just going to update the color here using that same sun bright yellow for his little hat and the gnome body. I like the stamped concrete look, but I thought the colors on this were a little bit too distressed, and we could kind of use the same color that we've been using on the tier tray. I'm also going to update his little beard, make it look more white. Basically any of the colors that I can get to on him pretty easily here. And it is stamped in there, so it kind of makes it easy to paint. Also, I thought maybe a very soft pink on his little nose to clean that up as well. Now, there is like a little bee on there, and so I do touch that up a little bit with just a black paint pen, trying to give it like maybe some stripes. Not real detailed. And then I thought, he kind of needs like some bee stripes on his hat to kind of give him more of a bee look. He is holding like a little bee skep, but I thought stripes would make it look like, kind of like that gnome we did on our last bee tier tray where we made the bee gnome. He had a nice bee striped hat, and it totally gives you that bee vibe. So they had the lines stamped on there. So I just went in there with a paint pen and just drew over the lines. Then I'm going to go back and fill that in to give you some bee stripes up here. I think that gave him a lot more character, made him super cute. I'm also going to go in and do like the brim of the hat and paint it the black color as well. Now, I thought it looked a little choppy. You know, you can kind of get that with a paint pen. So I do go back and kind of go over it with just some black acrylic and a small brush just to make him look even better, touch him up a little bit. And I think he turned out so cute. And you know what? He was just the perfect size to use on a tier tray. I also picked up some of these like in the starfish and seashell and stuff like that. I'll probably be using for a beach tier tray as well because I think they're much better suited to that. He kind of does stand on his side. He kind of wants to kind of lean to one side a little bit there with the flat part of the bottom on there, but I think it is super cute. And I think I can just lean him up against, like, you know, the pole in the middle of the tier tray, and he'll stand up on his own. Now, the next is a dollar spot find. This was from Target Dollar Spot. This beautiful little metallic gold bee, it was $5, which a little bit more than I would like to spend on this, but I think it was so pretty, and it was kind of one of my inspiration pieces for the whole tier tray. I want to kind of use this gold in some of the DIYs today. So we're not going to really do anything to him. We're just going to display him as is. Isn't he pretty? So that was from the Target Dollar Spot. Now we're going to do a candle DIY. Now, these candles are from the Dollar Tree. They look like honeycomb. They're so cute. They're like just the right color, and they have that great like honeycomb pattern all over. I thought we could do just a very simple, rustic little base for the candle using one of these wood slices from the Dollar Tree. I thought I could combine like the wood slice and then some of, you know, the little wood slice sticks that they have at the Crafter Square. If I can find like 3 of them that are relatively flat and about the same size, we can make a simple little stand for this. Since we've already got like the honeycomb and the candle, I'm not really going to do much of a bee theme with the candle holder, but I think I just kind of wanted it to look rustic, and I think that's going to look really good together. So those 3 look good. So just 3 of them for 3 little legs, and then we're just going to attach those on here with hot glue. And I love these little the wood slices from the Dollar Tree. I used to always have to pick those up at Dollar General, and you get 2 of those for $1.25. And check out this cute little candle holder. I love it. And we're just going to attach it with a little hot glue so it doesn't kind of like fall off all over the place. Maybe around the rim might work a little bit better. And you know, if I had any extra of those little wood bees, I might add some to that as well, but I think it's really cute on its own. Our little honeycomb candle with a little DIY candle stand. Have you guys seen those candles? I don't remember seeing those like last year or the year before. I think they're so cute. Are perfect for a bee tier tray. I love the color on that one. Okay, y'all, this is my favorite Dollar Tree find, like probably ever. How cute is this little bird cage with the bees all over it? Can you believe this was only $1.25? Y'all are always asking me if I'm getting this at like Dollar Tree Plus or something like that, but we do not have those stores yet here in Florida where I live. And this was just $1.25. It's got like a little tab on there. It even opens and everything. The only thing I wasn't super crazy about is the colors, the black and like the brass color. So I thought we could use that little bee from the Target Dollar Spot inspiration and paint this like a metallic gold. So I did have some metallic gold spray paint, and I think that's going to be a really easy item to paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the little bird cage and the spray paint, go outside and give it a quick spray, and look how pretty it turned out. I think it looks even better now, and I just really love it. Now, I don't really want to put like bees or anything like that inside, so I thought it would be really cute to kind of like use it as a display for like some greenery or something like that inside. So I think that's what we're going to do. So we can open it up to make it a little bit easier, but you can kind of just feed in from the side. And this is some new greenery that I found at the Dollar Tree. It says eucalyptus stem. Kind of has that like appearance of a boxwood, but very high quality greenery. Now, some of these kind of just pop off like that. And I think we're going to need most of this, probably all of it, to fill it all the way up. Now, some of it I still do kind of have to cut, and they do have a wire in there, so you're just going to have to either cut through that or kind of bend it to break them off. But if I can have like a bigger piece like that where more of the pieces stay together, I think that's going to work really well. I don't want like a long stem sticking out, so I do make sure that I kind of try to tidy it up a little bit. And kind of give me a starter piece glued down there. I am going to go in and just kind of cut all these apart. I've got another nice bunch here, and I think this looks really pretty in there. It's kind of subtle. It's not going to give you like a really loud piece like if you were to do like a yellow flower or something like that, but I think it coordinates with like the metallic gold really well. And I love this bird cage. I found a lot of this new bee DIY stuff at one of my larger Dollar Trees the other day. That big one that used to be a Walgreens, and this was the first thing I found when I came in the store. How cute is this? I think the gold metallic paint just makes it look so much better. And I think it looks really cute with all the greenery inside. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments below, have you guys seen this yet? I cannot believe it was $1.25. It's a really nice size as well. Okay, next DIY. I thought we would take one of these little like hexagon shapes, little wood chunky signs, and some honeycomb burlap from the Dollar Tree. We could do a cute little sign. This shape sign is like just the right size for a tier tray, and it's nice and chunky. And we're just going to stain all the sides of this with some antique wax by Waverly. And, you know, it is on a tier tray, and so I'm also going to stain like the back of it as well, just in case you can see it from the other side. So I'm just going to remove the label on the back, give it a quick stain. Now on the front side of it, we are going to use the burlap, and this is really cute. It's one of their new bee designs. It is the honeycomb, and I thought it would be perfect for this shape. So we're just going to cut off a piece of this, and we can cover the front of that sign. Just a fun texture and a really easy sign. So I'm just going to use a Sharpie to kind of draw on the back of it so I'll know exactly where to cut that out. And just cut inside the lines. I'm just going to Mod Podge that on. This is not a real intricate shape, so I don't think we'll have much trouble with fraying with that, but I just put down a nice thick layer of Mod Podge all over the front of the sign and just lay the burlap on there. Isn't that cute? And you know, they have like the honeycomb fabric and stuff like that, but I think the burlap is even cuter. So once I get it on there, I do go over the top of it with some more Mod Podge, sealing it down because, you know, the Mod Podge doesn't necessarily want to stick to the wood. You're definitely going to have to go over the top as well. I do clear up any of the fraying on the sides just by trimming that up and giving it a good dry. Now, I thought the cutest thing would be to use some more of these little wood bees, and these are my last two. But I thought they would be the perfect decoration to finish off this little honeycomb. And it doesn't really matter where you put them. I'm just going to kind of scatter them, one here and one here. And I'm not going to add a word or anything to it. I think it is perfect as is. I love the texture of the burlap on there. And the stained wood sides look really cute as well. Aren't those bees cute? Were you able to find the little wood bees at your store? I really wanted more, and I have been to every single store, and I have not been able to find any more of these. They're so cute. But this is our little honeycomb sign DIY. Now check out these. They have some really cute bee signs, and this one is the Be Kind one. It is almost perfect. The only thing I'm not super crazy about on this one is that the edges are kind of like an unfinished wood. And so I thought we could kind of cover that up with some of that honeycomb fabric from the Dollar Tree. I love this, and the colors look great together. I thought we could just kind of make a strip of fabric with that. I kind of want to get some straight cutting lines here too. So I'm just going to use my cutting mat and like my little Fisker roller to kind of give me a straight line here so we can kind of make a ribbon. Now they have like more than one kind of this honeycomb fabric at the Dollar Tree. The other one is like a little bit brighter and like it's a little bit larger. The print on there as well. And they also sell that in a strip already, so you might be able to find that as well. Once I get a straight line, I'm going to kind of just see how big I need this to be. And basically, I'm just going to cut enough of this where it will cover, you know, the two sides and the top. There's really no need to cover the bottom of this one, but it's just going to give a fun little detail to an already really cute sign. They also have like a white sign like this that says "Be Humble." And I used that on my coffee bar. I did a bee coffee bar this year and it turned out super cute as well. So you'll have to check that one out too. And I thought about I had another one of those. I thought about using it for this tier tray as well, but I really kind of liked the yellow feel of this one. So I'm going to use some Mod Podge and just glue that all around the edges. Just a quick way to kind of, you know, disguise that cheaper looking wood around the sides because the front of it is just perfect. There's no glitter or anything. I think the colors are perfect. I just wanted to do a quick little frame. Just, you know, a way that you can take a Dollar Tree item and just make it a little bit better. Isn't that design so cute? And it's like a slatted wood on the front as well. It's not like a faux slatted, it's actually slatted. And I'm just going over the top of all sides with a little bit more Mod Podge to make sure everything is secure and trimming up any loose strings. And this is how it turned out. Isn't it cute? Here is our little bee kind. And I'm trying to use this is kind of one of the yellows I'm trying to use a lot on these DIYs. I think it's so cute. And I think it looks great with that little honeycomb border. Okay, next DIY. This is another new find, I think. I've never seen this before at Dollar Tree. It is a little gold honeycomb candle holder. Now, it is already metallic gold, but it's kind of a different shade of gold than what we used on the bee and the bird cage and stuff like that. So I'm going to take it outside and give it a spray of spray paint as well, and look how it kind of changed the vibe of it. I really think it looks way more high end, so I'm just gonna pop a Dollar Tree tea light in there, and I think this is so cute. I love how I had this and the little bee from the Target dollar spot just for some gold accents, and I think this is so cute. I'm using a real candle in there, but you could do battery operated or even a votive candle. It's all basically gonna fit. And a new DIY item. Look at this. This is one of those little wax warmers with that gold stamp bee on there. And it is white as well. So I thought we could do something similar to what we did to the little trinket box. So we're going to go in there with that sun bright yellow and a brush. And we're going to kind of go all over. I'm not really going to use this as a wax warmer. I thought instead we could kind of make this look like a honey pot. So I thought this was going to be just perfect. So using a brush so I can kind of get in all of the ridges there. You also have some of the little hole cutouts in the side as well. And then kind of wiping off the excess so that gold stamp kind of shows through on our bee like we did before. I get it all painted. I'm also going to go over the top of it with the yellow as well. But my plan is to try to fill that in with some faux honey. I know that a lot of people do the faux honey with the orange or brown tinted glue sticks, which I don't really have any of those. So I'm going to show you how I was able to kind of still make that work without those. So I'm just going to go in and just kind of start filling it up with hot glue. Now, there is a little bit of a reservoir there to, store the wax melt. So it does take quite a bit of hot glue to get this filled up. But every now and then, I'm just kind of pulling it out so it will kind of drip along the sides to kind of make it look like honey dripping over the sides of the honey pot. Now, when you're trying to get like a thick layer of the glue like that, you're going to have to kind of let it set a little bit between coats to kind of let it dry up a little bit, but then you can go in and kind of fill it up a little bit more. So I'm trying to do the edges, and then I'm going to go in and fill it up with more hot glue and doing more like little honey drips as I go around. And it's not going to be overflowing or anything like that. I just kind of want it to make it look as full as I can. I think that looks pretty good. So what I do is I kind of like walk away from it just for a few minutes to let that start setting up. If you want to speed that up a little bit, you could always pop it in the fridge. Just going to make that dry. And then I thought we would just use like some gold metallic paint. This is the gold metallic paint from Dollar General. It's super inexpensive, and I'm just using a brush and going over and painting the hot glue to give it that honey color. So we're going to have that gold accent, but we're also going to have like that gold honey color against the yellow honey pot. And it did take a couple coats of this to kind of get it more of a bold color where you could really see it. I really don't want that translucence of the hot glue, but I'm using a tiny brush so I can kind of go around the edges and get those little drops that we went around the edges too. And I will have to touch it up a little bit with some yellow paint because it's kind of hard to kind of stick with just one color there when it's kind of leaking around the edges. And isn't that a cute little honey pot? This was so easy to DIY, and it was really fun to kind of do some faux honey on top. So once I get it all touched up, I think that looks pretty good. I think I have like the right amount of paint on there. And then, you're supposed to put like a candle inside. And so I am going to put a candle inside, but again, we're not going to be using this like as a wax warmer. It's just going to be kind of for decor. Isn't it cute? I love it with the little gold stamp bee on the front as well. And here's our little yellow honey pot. It does kind of have like a little dotted flying pattern on there as well, which is super cute. And I love the little honey. That's my favorite part. Okay, I wanted to do something fun for the top of the tier tray, and I just sometimes like to add a large piece, so I thought one of these little metal yardsticks from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. It's got a great size bee on there. The only challenge is trying to get this stake off there without mutilating it so much. So I'm trying to rock it back and forth. I notice it's really connected 2 points. And it does kind of rip a little bit of a hole in it by the time I could get it off, which was not ideal, but you know what? We're going to work with it. I am going to need to tie it to the tier tray as well, so I can always cover that up with twine. Now, the wings are like kind of a bright rainbow effect, and I want to tone them down a little bit, so I just use some of that gold acrylic. It's okay if some of the colors shine through, but I just didn't want it to be quite so bright. And then I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine and kind of wrap that around the body portion. I do want to kind of pull it down a little bit to kind of cover up a little hole boo-boo that we have right here in the middle. And that's going to serve 2 purposes: to cover that up and also tie it to the top of my tier tray. The tier tray we're decorating today is my wood 2-tier tray, and it's kind of got like an oval ring at the top. So I think we can just tie that up there, kind of make it look like he's flying away. And the other side is black, so I think that'll be super cute as well. And this is how he looks. I just kind of tied him to one side. The legs are kind of bendable as well if you need to work yours around whatever kind of tier tray you have, but I think he looks really cute right on top. What do you think? Okay, next DIY. I like to do like a mini pennant banner, and I found some great bee burlap fabric at the Dollar Tree. So I just took some twine. I kind of measured exactly how long I need that to go all the way around and gave myself some extra space. So kind of a marking where I'm going to be tying that together. And then check out this burlap. They have these bees with the yellow and black. They also had like just a black print bee without the yellow. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Now, I want to make like little pennant triangles with these. And the bee kind of naturally kind of already has that shape, but I want to do a mini pennant banner. So I'm definitely only going to be able to fit one in a little triangular piece, but you know what? I think we can make it work. So I just kind of start cutting it around the bee. I cut it flat at the top and then kind of cut it down into a point like a little burlap pennant. Isn't that cute? It's okay if it frays a little bit. I kind of want that rustic look for this little mini pennant banner. And what we're going to do is we're going to hang this around the top tier of my tier tray. And this is going to be one of the finishing pieces for the tier tray. I have this and a couple other items left to do. And then we're going to move on to some more bee DIYs. You guys seem to really love the bee DIYs. So I thought I would make another large bee video. I've had two this year. I had like a lot of bee wall decor and then my bee coffee bar, and they were so much fun. So I think this is going to finish off like my kitchen area because this is going to go so great. It's like in the same room as my coffee bar. So that's what four of them look like. You do kind of have to waste a little bit of the fabric to be able to get like that right triangular shape on your bee, and then not like you kind of mess up the bees to the side of it. So I'm just kind of working up and down. And I don't really know at this point how many I'm going to need, but I'm just going to cut like just probably about 8 of them. And they don't have to be perfect. And a couple of them were a little bit bent, but I think that's gonna be okay. So I did a total of 8, and then I thought we could start kind of spacing these out. From where I'm gonna tie, I'm gonna just kind of start putting pieces maybe about 2 inches in. And I don't want these to be super close to each other. So I was thinking about 4 inches in between each one. And as you can see, I am just hot gluing that directly onto my twine. Super easy, but also, you're not going to be able to move it around side to side to even it out. So it is kind of important to measure each piece so you can get a relatively good fit. And we're just going to keep working along. This turned out so cute. I wanted to do like a different treatment kind of for the top and the bottom tier of this tier tray. And I had so much fun putting this together. And I'll take you through all the steps as well, because we're totally going to be staging that too. Whenever you're just gluing directly on there with your hot glue, you're going to have a little bit of mess. So I always clean that up really easily with my heat gun. And I ended up only using 6 of them. I guess I spaced them out a little further than I thought. But this is what I did. I just tied them around the tier. And I actually tried to make it where some of them were like a little higher than the others, all the way around the tier tray, and just a fun, cute little bee detail. This is the wood tier tray that we're DIYing today. Now, this is honeycomb satin ribbon, also from the Dollar Tree, a nice wide ribbon. And we're also going to use that. This is what we're going to use here along the bottom tier. Basically, I just cut a long enough piece to overlap slightly and kind of hot glued that to itself, tight enough where it would kind of stay on. And I think that's going to be another fun touch to this tier tray. Now, we are going to stage this tier tray where I'm going to take you through and show you how I put it all together. And I always like to have a little filler for my tier trays to make them look nice and full. So we're actually going to use some of the lamb's ear from Dollar Tree. I think this is so beautiful, and I'm so happy that I can find this at Dollar Tree now. And let's get started on the bee tier tray. So I tied that little yardstick to the top. Like he's kind of flying. Here is our little DIY burlap pennant banner with the little bees on there as well, with the little honeycomb ribbon on the bottom, and we can start staging this. So here is our little DIY rope beehive covered in our little wood bees. We had that little honeycomb trinket dish. I think that's going to work well on top. I kind of want to balance it out, maybe a taller piece on each side. So here is that little light up Be Kind, Be Sweet, Be Humble box, and that little honey pot with a little bee charm that we filled with yellow flowers. And then we were going to use that lamb's ear as filler. I think it's a nice touch. It's kind of like a soft green, so it's not going to compete too much with the yellows. And on to the bottom tier. We have a little bit more room to work with down here, and we can start decorating it. Here is that little Be Kind stepping stone that we repainted. I think it looks super cute with a little bee stripe hat. And he's a nice background piece. And then that little gold bee that we got at the Target dollar spot, I was afraid you weren't going to be able to see it. So I'm going to kind of prop him up a little bit on some of that lamb's ear so you can kind of see him a little bit better. And over to the side here is that little honeycomb candle where we made the little candle holder. It's so rustic and cute. Just a nice, subtle little bee touch. And my favorite piece, the little bee bird cage. I still can't believe that was only $1.25. It is so cute. And it looks great with the greenery inside. What do you guys think? Here is that little burlap honeycomb sign that we made with the little bees on front as well. And we still have a little bit of room here, that Be Kind. This is a nice size for a tier tray. It fits nicely. It's got like a really good height. You can kind of layer it behind pieces like that for a fun background. And you could put some smaller pieces in front of it, like this little honeycomb candle holder as well. And just kind of move it around, make it all fit. And just a few more spaces left. We have our little honey pot that we made with the wax warmer with like the fake honey like dripping over the side. I will have to get some of those colored hot glue sticks because that would make that even easier. I've seen people use it, and then I don't know why I've never picked any of those up, but that would be good as well. And then we're just going to start filling in any of the areas that kind of need something with some more of that lamb's ear. And just kind of putting it wherever I think it's needed. I really love these newer bee items they have at the Dollar Tree. I think they're so cute. And hopefully you got lots of fun DIY ideas with this bee tier tray. I've actually done a total of 3 different bee tier trays. Definitely one of my favorites for sure. But look how cute this one turned out. I love the wood and I love the greenery. I think that's just another fun touch. But also the gold is kind of a surprise on there. But it really goes well with like the honey theme and the yellow gold that we have in there, which really reminds me of bees. But a really fun DIY to do. I love this tier tray. I actually got that tier tray at Bell's Outlet, I think, on clearance. And it is so fun to decorate. Now it's time for the final reveal. I hope you got lots of fun crafting ideas today. Please let me know which bee DIY was your favorite down in the comments below. I love reading all of your comments. And don't forget to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach, where you can get little individual DIYs on your phone.
A smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns, Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a whirl of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in my mind. When you left, I was so completely gone, but now I'm sure you were some of the best of things to find. Would you follow me to wonders? If you're everything that matters to me, makes me wonder why I can't get over you. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a whirl of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in my mind. When you left, I was so completely gone, but now I'm sure you were some of the best of things to find. Would you follow me to wonders? If you're everything that matters to find it hard to not give in. I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a whirl of thunder. Fear.
Thank you so much for joining me today and for making it all the way to the end of the video. When you watch all the way, it helps so much. I also want to thank all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Live Another Day, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you would like to become a member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. If you are on a computer, and I think a smartphone works as well, you're going to get early ad-free access to my videos and a badge next to your name when you comment and a shout out in every video. I would also love to see your DIYs. Be sure to join our private Facebook group. It's linked in the description. If you haven't joined, I would love to see what you've been crafting as well. You guys are so creative. And if you would like more spring DIYs, check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting.